Hey guys, so I'm back with my experience on taking the Foundations of Reading MTEL in the state of Massachusetts. So for me, I took the workshop. I didn't know anything about any of the material or really the content or subject matter at all before the workshop. I just knew that I needed to take the Foundations of Reading MTEL in order to be able to pass and get my license. So I actually passed on the first try, which is crazy because I looked at the odds of that before I got my results back, and I was definitely preparing to possibly have to take it again, but I passed on the first time, so I must have done something right. I think that the workshop that I took was 150% the reason why I passed, and I just really lucked out. I didn't know anything about the instructor before I took the test. Before I took the workshop. But I really lucked out. I was very fortunate. The instructor taught this workshop that I took for Foundations of Reading, a prep course for the MTEL. It was at UMass Boston, and it was taught by Jennifer Yeager. This is the material that she passed out in the workshop, and she has a website right here. She's a literacy coach and educational consultant. She taught this class, and she is amazing. She really knows what she's doing, and she gave me all of the tools and techniques that I needed in order to pass on the first try. So if you're in the Massachusetts area, make the trip. Even if you're not near Boston, line up one of her classes, get in touch with her. She's a great resource. She definitely, it's proven, she knows what she's doing. She knows how to help you and give you the tools in order to pass the MTEL. So I will talk a little bit more about my experiences. I decided to take the essays, to write the essays first in the exam. That was definitely the best way to go. Getting that behind you before the multiple choice is really the best technique for, I would say, for me, but I would assume that that would be for a lot of people as well. So there's a comprehension assessment, for me, there was a comprehension assessment where, a student would probably read a story and have to recount their comprehension of the story. So in this, to prepare yourself for the essay, you would really need to engage your comprehension and knowledge about literal, inferential, schema, self-monitoring, and be able to really write about the strengths and weaknesses that come across in a child's recount of a story or a passage. Just have to really think about what the student needed to understand and whether or not they did understand that. Being able to give explanations, tie it all in, and wrap it up, because this essay the essay is 150 to 300 words. So really, it's not too long. It's definitely just right there in the middle, and you can't be too wordy. You really have to be articulate with these essays. I was sweating in all of the MTELs I took, but it was really challenging. These were really hard. So again, there's 2 essays. The other I remember was word identification strategies, and just considering the use of phonics, analysis of word structure, context clues, and just the ability for the student to identify sight words. So I had to be able to assess a written example, kind of like a knowledge. I'm trying to think. So my daughter is actually on an IEP. She's 13. And I've been able to use this technique with her in trying to figure out what her knowledge is when it comes to reading and her oral ability. So it was kind of like that same type of record. And then just based on your personal knowledge, you have to be able to identify the student's strengths and weaknesses in word identification strategies. And you have to be able to give specific reasons why, cite exactly, this is this, the reason I'm saying this is because of this, write for the strengths and weaknesses, really be able to write a paragraph about each. Like, again, this is 150 to 300 words, but make all of that count, be articulate and really clear. In terms of my studying that I did for the multiple choice, if that didn't make any sense, I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to do my best. I actually took this test, let's see, when did I take it? Foundations of Reading I took in December 2018, so it's been well over a year since I took this, so I'm just kind of trying to remember backtrack any kind of notes I took. But anyway, Foundations of Reading notes, like I took tons of notes. I highlight literally everything that I write. I've just always been like that. I don't know why I do that. I think it helps me. But I took a ton of notes in the workshop, and even though it would be really hard for me to just go over in a short video all of the things that I studied, I will also go back to saying definitely take a workshop, especially if you're in my boat and you have no academic experience with this stuff. Everything that you need to know to pass this test is going to be in this Jennifer Yeager's study guide for Foundations of Reading. She also gave us one of these, which this is free, like the practice test is free on the MTEL website. Anyways, to go back to what I was saying, the vocabulary and everything that I studied, I knew nothing about before, but I really had to understand. So I pounded this into my mind. I took the test, the exam, only like 48 hours after I took the workshop. So I went from knowing nothing about this to passing the test all in like a 3-day span. It's completely doable, but really have to focus in on all of the vocabulary. So I had to learn what schema was, like background knowledge. I had to know the difference between phonological awareness and phonemic awareness. I had to learn what phonemes were, what graphemes were, everything about phonics. I had to learn like little things like segmenting, compound words, diphthongs. I didn't even, like when she said that word, I totally thought it was a made-up word, but it's not. It means slurred sounds. So I had to also learn about cueing systems and hard C's and soft C's and hard G's and soft G's and, you know, blends. Had to learn about sight words at high frequency words, you know, words. Oh God, I can't even talk. But, you know, I remember that from when my daughter was learning to read and way before I ever had any interest in teaching. So, again, it's completely doable. This is so much information. Oh my gosh. But I, again, highly suggest taking a workshop. And if you're in Massachusetts, look Jennifer Yeager up. You really need to get a hold of this. This is gold. If you want to pass, get one of these somehow. See if she's still teaching that workshop at UMass. That's how I passed. Again, like, it's completely doable. And I was surprised that I passed the first time. I was kind of mentally preparing myself to possibly have to take it again. It was really challenging. So, but stick with it. If I can pass it, anyone can really pass it. It's just be determined and be focused and go to the parking lot before the test and sit in your car for like an hour before your test and study, especially the essays, what you need to know, like what is your game plan, like have a game plan set out in place. This is what I'm gonna do if I get this, you know, and this comes after this. Just know what you do, so because you don't have that time to wonder what's next and wonder what the best thing is. Like, know what you have to do, put that game plan in place, and go with it. So best of luck, guys. Check out my other MTEL videos. I have my Common Lit, and I will also be going over my early childhood experience with the MTEL. So good luck, guys. Thank you so much for watching.